Scott. We are live here in Orlando, Florida at a local college campus. We had a chance to talk to some of the instructors and students about technology in the classroom, where it is today, and where they think it is going. The most crucial answer we were looking for: will today's classrooms prepare these students for tomorrow's workplace?
I decided to use it because I found that my students were lacking the basic knowledge of not only how to use the computer, but also how to get information, additional information that is not provided in the classroom. What I expect the students to get from the information or understand from what we discuss in class is the additional knowledge, the images that we develop in nuclear medicine, the terminologies that we use, the normal images that we're supposed to see, and all of that I can display on the website with explanations and videos and podcasts explaining all of the procedures, and that actually helps them when they go out to practice in the profession. I envision a more of an integrated future in technology in the classroom. I personally want to have all of the procedures that we do in nuclear medicine in video and in podcast, where the students will have them available at their fingertips, so that they don't have to run to a textbook all the time to review the information. They can be in their car listening to it. They can be watching their kids while they're studying, listening or watching on their iPod or their Zoom, giving them more environment, more learning environment that will provide us with better students. And I'm a digital me.
Hi, my name is Zach. I am a student at Kaiser in the nuclear med program. The best experience of technology in the classroom would have to be when I was in high school. I went to a private school, and they had something called Novanet, where I did all of the courses. They were on the computer, and I had a teacher there who would help me out, but most of my teaching came from a computer that taught me, and that was pretty cool. When I was in high school, I saw we used to have these projectors where you'd have a pin and you could touch on the screen, and you just project it, and it was an interactive type thing that was really helpful and useful when we were doing like reviews and stuff. So that would be something I'd like to see in the classroom more. I am a digital learner.
And that's it from the field in Orlando, Florida. Back to you, Scott.
Ginger, really interesting ideas. Thank you. Next, this leads into another complicated issue: interpersonal skill development. Donna, I want to ask you that with a heightened focus on all these digital tools and competencies in the workplace, some are starting to fear that today's children may not develop the same critical social skills that are important to build and maintain professional relationships within the workplace. As texting, instant messaging, and social networking have become the main forms of communication for today's youth, many are worried that the dramatic use of abbreviated language and slang might hinder this generation's ability to adapt and socialize within the workplace. Donna, this seems like a real issue. What do you think is key to helping young people understand the importance of inter- and intrapersonal skills?
AFAIUI-CID. Many adults would see these letters and wonder whether or not something had been misspelled or if this was a language other than English. Today's teens and young adults would easily translate those letters into, as far as I'm concerned, consider it done. We live in an age of text messaging, instant messaging, and social networks. At the same token, we teach students who breathe this language effortlessly. How do we break down the barriers and understand the language itself and incorporate that same oddity into a curriculum asset to train our students to dwell outside that realm? Amanda O'Connor of New Horizons states the following: there are those who see the use of so-called Internet English as a breakdown of the English language, According to a recent newspaper article, some teachers see the creeping abbreviations as part of a continuing assault of technology on formal written English. Conversely, there are those who regard this same Internet English not only as an example of how language is constantly developing and changing, but also as a type of literacy in and of itself, which can be capitalized on to engage students in more traditional learning. As Professor Barbara Bell believes, anytime students are reading or writing, it's going to help. There is truth in both sides that Amanda O'Connor presents. As educators, we must learn to monopolize on both sides to infuse our instructional practices with the language of our youth. Students enjoy teaching the teacher. Because of this realization, we can use this as a tool. Allow students to present material on the benefits of using IM, text language, and social networks. We must learn to use those same formats to formulate lessons and even post lessons for student consumption, and also as a springboard for students to turn work in. The language is not traditional. Through the investigative process, have students identify why this is deemed so. Their findings will open their eyes to what's really needed to succeed beyond their K-12 years and also into the workforce. Merging the two. That seems to be what our plight is today. Even though the norm is that this is not traditional language, we must infuse this language into the curriculum in order to produce students who function well beyond their K-12 years, into their college years, and also into the workforce.
Donna, those really sound like great ideas. Thanks for sharing. Sounds like we're doing some really great work in the classroom. Last but not least, Joseph, I'd like to talk about money. I'd like to talk about the national debt. Considering the cost of current legislation, 2 wars, and the nascent recovery of our last recession, it's likely that tomorrow's workers will have a really hefty debt burden to bear. As more and more manufacturing opportunities leave the United States, some are concerned that these young professionals will have to juggle multiple jobs within the service sector in order to fulfill our current economic obligations. Joseph, what's the answer? How can we prepare young people to be fiscally aware and deal with tomorrow's challenges?
Tonight's topic is the national debt.
Alright, since I gotta talk about the national debt, come on. Considering the cost of the current legislation based on the last 2 wars, I'm looking at this. Our nascent recovery from the last recession is like that tomorrow's workers will have a hefty debt to pay. I'm like, come on, where's the manufacturing jobs? They're gone. All we see now are surface jobs. All the manufacturing jobs are going overseas. I'm looking at, hey, in the U.S., some are even concerned about that. Our young professionals will have to juggle more than one job to be able to survive. We're looking at just to meet their economic service obligations. So what do we have for us? Service jobs? Are you kidding me? You gotta be real. What we need to do nowadays is to educate our young, educate the kids who are in high school, educate the folks to go back to college, to earn a higher education, higher degree. We gotta teach these kids about quadratics. We gotta teach these kids about linear equations and inequalities. Complex fractions, people. Complex fractions. Come on, finding the unknown, making graphs, analyzing theories, not to figure out how can I serve you today, ma'am. No, we're talking about making stuff, making items that will actually create jobs, bring manufacturing back to the U.S. so we can get rid of this national debt. That's what I'm talking about. Back to you.
Joseph, thank you. Well, folks, there you have it. Straight from the mouths of evil geniuses who are doing the work every day within the classroom to help our young people. My hope is that now, maybe, just maybe after hearing some of these stories, tomorrow won't seem so scary and we'll know that our young people are prepared for the challenges ahead. Thanks for listening, and good night and good luck to all of you.